Hey, what's going on, my friends? This is Dave Sharpe. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary. And yet again, if you're brand new here, I say yet again simply because every morning, and we've been doing this for the past couple of years, we have a guest on, a client, and we interview them completely unscripted and completely unedited. Well, it's live. And I can tell you and prove to you that it's live because if you look on my phone, it's Monday, June 13th. And that should match up with the date and time on your phone right now, too. And that is my legitimate working phone, right? No games there. So yeah, we've been doing this for the past couple of years. And if you want a reminder every time that we go live, you can see that little notification. Just text us. And it's not even us, it's just the software that we use. The letters WUL, that stands for Wake Up Legendary, WUL. Text that to 813-296-8553. Okay. Yeah. Watch out for all of the fake accounts out there. This is a big deal. I'm going to highlight this comment from Riley. Excuse me. Watch out for these people. Watch out for these animals. We have all kinds of different sharks and just unethical people, man. I don't know if they're bad. I don't know if they're desperate, but yeah, there's fake fan pages out there that are, saying they're us, saying they're giving away Bitcoin and all this other crap. David Sharpe owns 0 Bitcoin. I don't give any Bitcoin away. I've never done a Bitcoin giveaway. I don't really know anything about that. The only thing I know is marketing. That's why that's all I talk about. So let's talk about some marketing. All right. This morning, we have a guest, and he's got 115,000 followers and growing. He's a former engineer. He's persevered through his hearing loss and his job loss to build a completely new future with digital marketing online. Salvatore, welcome to the show, my friend.
How are you, Dave? Privileged to be on here.
Hey, it's my privilege, and thanks so much for coming and being willing to give back a little bit. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you calling in from? Where are you from? Where are you at right now? And how did you find us?
Well, basically, I'm located in Montreal, Canada. And truthfully, I heard from you guys, I think it was on an Instagram. And at the time, I lost my job as an aerospace program engineer.
Right.
And I was just going, I kept
Wow.
seeing legendary. And, I'm like, what is this guy? I see this guy in a ghosty, in a cap, always pointing at the screen. I'm like, you know what? I got to try it out. So little did I know, I tried it out. And funny thing is, I actually bought your course. And then the next day, I lost my hearing. So, yeah, so here's the thing. First of all, I'm born deaf. So I have a severe, profound hearing loss to the point where the doctors told my parents that I couldn't even talk.
Wow.
And lo and behold, through my life, I've been able to go to school, push myself. So I already had that mindset that nothing can put you down. You really emphasize on the mindset because mindset is powerful. It's a game changer. No matter what you do in life, mindset can propel you to go forward. So I already had that mindset ingrained in me. So when I joined your legendary course, it propelled me even further along with your courses. So back to when I got your course, the next day I actually lost my hearing to the point where I couldn't walk because I had an inner ear balance. And long story short, I needed immediate surgery, and I actually have two cochlear implants right now. So
Wow.
as I'm talking with you, it's Bluetooth into my cochlear implant. So
Wow.
it's not a speaker. So I'm the only person in this room who could hear your own voice.
Wow. Wow. That's really something. That's really something. And you're making this work. I mean, thank
You
you
know
for
what?
sharing that. Thank you for sharing that right up front, because a lot of us have, whether that be limiting beliefs, insecurities, we all have them. Every single person. Some of them are obvious, like um, something that could limit you is obvious. It's
Correct.
your hearing. For other, it might be some sort of trauma that happened at some point in their life, and it's just dominating them. Each one of us has our own mountain, has our own Goliath, David and Goliath, if you will. And so thanks for sharing that up front. How are you sharing that out also online in your marketing, and what are you finding from doing so, or just what?
Actually, it's funny you mentioned that because as part of your training, you inspired us to, try to tell your story. Because, I mean, I know your story very well because you kept repeating it. And maybe that's something I should do more of, is repeat my story. So I actually, started posting on Facebook about content, about who I was and so forth. And it's funny because I started sharing my story, I've inspired some other people as well, to the point where I actually got nominated to be part of here Quebec's community of hearing loss, to spread awareness about hearing loss. And it's truthfully, indirectly, it came from you.
Wow.
So I appreciate that, and it really brought me out to my shell even more. Because when you say who you are, your story, and you that in your marketing, it really resonates with everyone. It really
Yeah.
shows who you are as a person. You're honest. You're able to help people, provide value to people. How
Mm,
can we make this work?
right. Well, ultimately, we are trying to gain people's trust, because
Correct.
that's the biggest thing that somebody has to have in order to want to do business with you. They need to feel safe. They need to trust you, that you're not a scammer, that you're not going to hurt them by taking their money, or maybe making them do something that is abusive or uncomfortable, or right. So before we spend money with somebody, we need to be able to trust them. And the quickest way that I found to gain somebody's trust is to share a vulnerability that I have, to sort of say, hey, here's my sort of, here's my vulnerability. Here's what most people try to hide from you. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and sort of let you see all of me. And of course, I don't say that to get pity, and I don't say that to manipulate. I just say that because I just use my experience and sharing my vulnerabilities, because both in my personal conversations in my life, and also in my business and in my marketing, I'm not a guy who compartmentalizes my life. I'm not just telling stories in marketing because there's no feeling behind them. I'm actually attached to the feeling. That's how I get passionate. And I think that's how I get so passionate, and I ultimately think is the secret to all great marketing, is that not that you're telling a fake story, or you're telling a story just for the sake of telling a story. You can do that. We see that every day. But when you're listening to somebody who's telling you something that's some real ass shit, for lack of better terms. That's sort of a professional term I've coined, real ass shit. It's a marketing slogan. And when they feel that, that realness, people can tell whether you're just doing something to put on a show, or whether this is actually who you are. I think people have what I call, another professional terminology, a built-in bullshit detector. I think people have that. And,
Agreed.
So that's been one of, and here's the other thing, Salvador, is I actually have found it to be somewhat therapeutic as well to share, because I find it the opposite of therapeutic. I find it very miserable to try to be somebody who I'm not. So I find it very healing and very therapeutic and very, it just feels right to just be able to share with people who I am, and then to find those who will celebrate me and not criticize me. And what comes up for you as I say that, and that's of course the reason why I've begun telling my story. And thank you for listening and then putting it into action instead of just being entertained by it, because that's really cool. But um, does that resonate with you in terms of the fact that at a certain point in life, and I don't know whether it's an age thing or whatever, um, that man, it just I am so miserable trying to be something that I'm not, or someone that I'm not. And so that's also a part of, I think, why I have become so much of an open book. Um, was there a time where you were a lot less open minded and willing to, and maybe more insecure about talking about, you know, your own limitations that others might say they're limitations, but of course you and I know they're not. Have you sort of come out of your shell, or what has the journey been like in terms of other ways that you have got more either courageous, or you've tried something in your marketing and it's worked really well, something that you were once maybe afraid of doing? Maybe it was getting on video. Talk about something else that maybe you've overcome during this process.
Well, when I was younger, I was like shy. I didn't have so much confidence, especially like in high school. And I think it was maybe in university where I really like, okay, you know what? I have a hearing loss. I was wearing hearing aids, and I decided to be a little more open about it because I was different from everybody else, no matter what, because I had a hard time hearing. But then going forward, especially with my career in the engineering and aerospace, I pushed myself to be more open. And, like you said, to show your vulnerabilities, because that is key. You don't want to hide behind a bush. You don't want to hide behind like a fake or a mask, because
Yeah.
that's just not going to get you anywhere.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest things that I found is transparency. If you're transparent, like whether you're at home in the supermarket or outside or behind the video of a computer screen, as long as you're honest, there's nothing to hide. Everything just comes freely. And that's what I
Yes.
found really key in marketing, because as you're being transparent, you're sharing your story. And yes, my story is very unique because I have a severe hearing loss to the point where I lost it completely. 2 years ago, actually, yeah, 2 years ago, I thought I was like completely deaf. I couldn't hear. I I was I was in a very, very, very bad state, dude, to the point where I couldn't walk, I couldn't drive. I was just sitting down, getting massive headaches. The best way to describe it was I was underwater listening to a fat opera singer trying to hit a high key note. Because
Wow.
at the same time, I developed severe tinnitus where I was hearing a fire alarm bell 24/7. And it was very, very rough. Thank God for
Wow.
my family, my friends, and my girlfriend, and they really helped me get through it. That was key, and I think that was like a turning moment at the same time, because support can mean a lot. For
Yeah.
example, in your legendary community, support is phenomenal. Everyone is there to help each other, whether it's a marketing question, a personal question. Support is phenomenal. And then finally, when I got my surgery, life completely changed to the point where I could hear. I mean, I never knew what bird tweeting sounded like. I
Wow.
never knew the clock on the watch what it sounded like. I never
Wow.
knew walking. You know, some people drag their feet. I never
Yeah.
heard that sound.
Wow.
There's something like water boiling, simple sounds like that. Water boiling. I was flabbergasted. And I was
Wow.
explaining this on my Facebook page, and people, I was being honest with myself, honest with other people, and I was getting a lot of messages. How's this happening? What's going on? I noticed you're in affiliate marketing. How can you help me? So, I mean, once you provide value
Mhm.
about yourself and about someone who needs help in all categories, could be personal, could be marketing, that's where you can really excel to push yourself even higher.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds terrifying, exhilarating. I mean, to go from no hearing, to
It was, yeah, it's something.
to then being able to have that opposite extreme of hearing those little detailed sounds. I mean, wow. Just you telling that story, is captivating for me to listen to. And so I tell you that, and I share that here to everybody who's listening, because I've said for many years, turn your mess into a message, turn your struggles into your strengths. And we as human beings get one shot, as far as we know, here on this earth. And you know our our ability to enjoy that time is really completely based on our creativity, completely based on how we take our weaknesses or things that have happened to us, and turn them into something that means something versus something that is debilitating, is truly disabling. Now you have a disability that's I don't see it disabling you, because you've figured out how to turn that struggle and turn it into a strength. And then, as or more importantly, in my opinion, because I'm just a selfish human being, you're sharing it. You're sharing it with me, and you're sharing it with the whole world. And to add a cherry on top of that, you're now getting paid as a result of it, you know? It's really something. And of course, you're providing other value, and you're talking, you're not just always talking about that one story, but my, oh my, what a, I mean, just can you take that in for a second? And have you taken that in, that, wow, look at, first of all, how, and you should be proud of yourself for that too, because not everybody figures out a way to take their struggles and turn them into strengths. But also, I just am always impressed by what's possible and what we can do with our situations when we combine it with these creative businesses like this one that we teach and do here. What's possible?
You know what? I mean, when you put your mind to it, anything is possible. Nothing, I mean, I've seen people in wheelchair who are living the best time of their life. I have friends who actually have better hearing than me, and are letting that bring them down. You know, it's like
Right.
when you have a
Yeah.
powerful mindset, you can do anything you want, Dave. And as you dictated earlier in the show, and even in your training, mindset is power. It's what you can do. It's like you take your weakness, you take your struggle, and you make something out of it. I
Mm,
never, even though yes, I'm disabled because that's on government term, and I'm okay with that. That's fine. That's totally cool. But I don't let that stop me because I want to push. I want to be better. I want to be an improved version. Every day is a better version than yesterday, no matter
mm,
how hard it can be in life. I mean, like, when I go back to that traumatic version, I mean, it's been, I've had these surgeries last August, so it hasn't been a year. So I'm still learning new sounds. Just a month ago, I was outside with my girlfriend and I hear a hoo hoo. And I'm looking, what is that sound? And my girlfriend tells me it's an owl. And I'm like, oh my God, I heard an owl for the first time in my life. And the weird part is,
Wow.
as a child, I knew it sounded like hoo hoo, but it just
Right.
didn't click. So that's the funny thing about the brain.
Because you read who, you read that, right? Like, so you
Correct.
knew that that's
Yes,
the sound that an owl made.
correct. So now I actually hear the sound. And, it just, I went on a vacation 2 months ago. Dave, I never realized how soothing the ocean is. I'm not a beach person. I'm a pool guy. Standing by the bar, drinking, relaxing, and I was making commissions at the same time, so I'm happy. But oh man, I was on that beach and I was so emotional because, yeah, that sound was just like, wow.
Mm.
Sorry, it just brings back memories. It's been a tough journey. Yeah,
Wow. I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine. And nothing else matters. I mean, nothing else matters except us proving to ourselves that we can do it and then believing that. And that's the only thing that I care about, even with my children. It's the most important thing that I think for all of us to, like, for us to focus on here at Legendary. It's not to focus on, all these little bells and whistles and mechanical things that any one of us are smart enough to learn and figure out and eventually do. It's not the tool is too hard. It's that when we see people complaining, I'm ready to give up from ClickFunnels or this or that, my friend, it's that your brain is broken. Your thinking is stinking. You know what I mean? That's it. It's just a simple fix. It's such a simple thing. You are not broken. You know what I mean? You as a person are not broken. You know, it's just so it's a simple fix, right? And you're such a great example of that. And it's also such a great example, right, Salvador, when we see non-disabled, fully capable people who are like saying, I can't do something, I can't do something. That's also a great reminder and a great lesson,
yeah,
you know, because that person, and we see it every day. I see it every day in our community. I see it every day all over life, all over in my family, in my town, everywhere. I see people, I can't. It's too hard. I don't want, I'd rather complain, whatever, because that's comfortable or whatever. And that's a great reminder, because Salvador, what I've realized as a felon and somebody who has the disease of addiction, somebody who has and was is a recovering person, somebody who's done a lot of recovery work. I've got you got the hearing deal, but I got some other wires that were crossed. Uh,
yes, I've heard.
but here's the thing, man, is that I gotta it's my responsibility to use that, as I can either use it as a big old bag of rocks that I'm going to carry around and it's going to weigh me down, or I can figure out with creativity. It is going to take me to I got to do some critical thinking, means I got to think for myself, how the hell can I turn this mess into a damn message and use it to inspire? And here's the other thing, Salvador. I wonder if you can relate to this. I can't feel when I inspire you. I personally don't get any benefit from that emotionally, but I do feel it when I get inspired. And so I live my life in a way that inspires me, because it's my number one source of inspiration. The way I carry myself, and whether I quit and lay down or whether I get up and keep fighting and keep trying, is the number one determining factor whether I'm going to be an inspired person. because I
Well
don't
said.
give a shit. I don't give a shit if I stand in front of a TV screen and I watch nothing but motivational videos and tapes from the best motivational speakers in the world, and I watch documentaries of people overcoming great challenges. But if I'm not doing shit and I'm laying down and not following through and figuring out how to do something, because we've all got a pile of shit. All of our pile of shit just looks different. It just looks a little bit different, but we all got to figure out how to turn that shit into fertilizer or into other every single person has something, whether it was you had a traumatic childhood, you got in a car accident and now you're messed up, you got neck pain, you got a disability, you're an addict, you're a felon, you're a single mom. Look, we all got something. And how far, whatever, what I get out of life just simply is whether I try, whether I take that dirt and say, shit, screw it, I'm going to spread this shit out and I'm going to grow some flowers right here and maybe some vegetables or whatever, or whether I just want to, sit here and stare at the pile of shit as flies eat it and maggots crawl through it. And that, of course, I'm going to be a miserable son of a gun if I do that. And I'm using that disgusting metaphor because that's how I feel if I just sit in my sort of on the pity potty, if you will. And I've done that before myself. But I feel it's the greatest gift, Salvador, that we get when we learn how to turn our struggles into our strengths, and it's the number one source of fuel. So, Salvador, are you inspired by your story, your personal, how you have triumphed and persevered through the difficulties in your life to get to where you are right now? And do you feel that is fueling some of your energy and your action?
It is a lot actually, and like I mentioned before, like when I started to open out, especially on Facebook, I had a lot of people message me, some people that I haven't heard in years. And one person was telling me, hey, Salvatore, I haven't seen you since university. You know, your story inspired me. My son actually has a little hearing loss. And I was flabbergasted, you know. It's amazing how you can open yourself up. And actually, it's like you said, you don't feel any benefit from that person. The only time I feel is when they reach out to me and says, hey, thank you for
That's another.
sharing.
Yeah.
Hey, you've
Right.
inspired me indirectly, you know? And that was
Right.
powerful. And I appreciated that. And you're so right. Everyone has something.
Mm.
Everyone has something. But you gotta turn it. You gotta add value to it. You look at J.K. Rowling. She's the biggest author about Harry Potter. Did you know that she got turned down by almost every book publisher? And now she lost her billionaire status because she gave money to charity. So it doesn't matter what happens in life. You just keep on pushing. Colonel Sanders, he failed over 5,000 times to get
Colonel,
the
who
perfect
who
KFC.
Colonel Sanders?
Yeah, for KFC. Like people after one, two, three, four, five, they fail and they give up. You know how many times I failed in life, David? I failed a lot. And you
Oh,
know what? Every time I failed, I learned something from it. That's how you
well,
grow. That's how you
I
push yourself.
Nick commented, "I'm struggling with something right now, and you're inspiring me to turn that addiction around." Well, you know what, my friends? I mean, the bottom line is that sometimes you're right. You have to become abstinent from whatever the hell is holding you back, and until you do that, you don't even have a chance to grow or succeed. Let me just be real clear about that. If any of you are struggling with like an addiction of any sort, an addiction to, and I'm serious, a serious addiction to drugs, alcohol of any sort, porn, food, shopping, there's so gambling, and there's so many other ways. Or if you're codependent, we also get very addicted to people. Okay, so we get in relationships that are toxic and or abusive. So that's another form of addiction. I believe we're also then become addicted to our struggles and addicted to commiserating with other people. It's how we bond with other people, and we have to break that addiction. So abstinence has to happen. If any of you are struggling with drugs, alcohol, anything like that, I just want to say that I'm not here to magically say a business is going to solve all your problems in your life. Some of us need to go to therapy. I did. Some of us need to go to 12-step recovery. I did. Some of us need to get surgery. He did. Some of us need to get on medication. I have over the years. Some of us need to do a lot of things in order to get ourselves in a position to even give ourselves a chance to succeed. And Salvatore, that is, you've done, those are courageous acts, by the way, folks. Going and taking care of yourself is a courageous act. I just want to say that. And then guess what you can do? You get to then use that as any way you want, because it's your story and your experience. You use it however you want, right, Salvatore?
That's right. That's right. And it's like you just want. I mean, not only had cochlear implant surgery last August, I also had a hernia surgery 2 months ago, and then I had knee surgery last month. So, but that's it. No more surgeries. I'm done. I'm done. I'm walking, and
I
so
hear
forth.
you.
And in terms of the comment about Nick, I just want to say, Nick, I mean, we all have frustrating days. I know I've had extremely frustrating days. I just wanted to give up on affiliate marketing. It's too much work. It's not worth it. I'm not getting any commission. But you know what? If you stay consistent, if you're dedicated, not only in business, but in life, they're transparent with each other. They're on the same level, because once you're open about yourself and you're putting in the dedication and consistent on a daily basis, it just takes time to grow. It's a snowball effect. It's
Yeah.
not something, like you said, David, it's not something that a business can improve or change your life. It can,
Yeah.
but you got to put the work into it. You got to
Yeah.
know the right skills. You have to know the proven strategies on how to go about it.
Yes. 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 Um, you know, um, listen, my friends. Um, I, golly, this is quite an amazing opportunity that we have in this business, because no, it's not going to solve all of our problems, but it can lead us on a path to truly uh, developing as a person, i.e., personal development. And it can lead us. When I got into this business, I had just gotten clean within the year or so before that, and I was really, I didn't have, as my dad used to say, a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. And I was an undeveloped person, personally and emotionally and mentally. I needed a lot of developing. And I started this business, and it wasn't pretty at first. But I used it not as my end all be all, not as the thing that was going to solve all my problems. And oh, by the way, if I pay this money, somebody should do it for me, right? I didn't have unrealistic expectations. I knew that I was going to have to do all the work. And I've never been afraid of work. And so I think that if you're afraid of work, then you're going to fail at anything that you do, because the fantasy that that rich people don't work is a myth. It's a lie, and it's been perpetrated by losers and broke people that are pretending they're snake oil salesmen who are trying to lure people into buying their stuff by telling them there's not going to be any work and making it seem like there's not going to be any work. But what is your opinion about, even through challenges, and obviously you've been an aerospace engineer, you understand work, you went to college, all this, but talk to us a little bit about, we've talked about the mindset, and before we go over and look at your TikTok and talk a little bit about what you're doing and so forth, give us a couple of tips there. Could you just say a little bit about the work ethic that it takes to be successful. And I don't particularly, I'm not saying, just so we're clear, that you need to work, 10, 12 hours a day or even 8 hours a day on this. But I do believe that the time that you spend needs to be focused. And I do believe that you need to treat this business like a business if you want it to pay you like a business. And that means that you need to have regular operating hours, and somebody needs to be showing up doing something every day except holidays. But that's just my opinion. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, like you said, I was an aerospace program manager, so my work ethic was already in place. I was working minimum of 10 hours, sometimes to 14 hours a day. But that's because I loved it. I enjoyed it. I was working with private jets. I was working on the Global 5000, Boeing 767, 777s. And then when COVID hit, everything changed, especially in the aerospace industry. So my work ethic was already in there, coupled with my sudden hearing loss at the same time. I
Mm,
sort of like went down because I couldn't really do anything. But with the mindset, the work ethic, that helped propel me in terms of marketing. So I had no idea what to do, how to do it. I barely understood sales funnel. I was always curious, how do the people get these email marketing skills or copywriting? I was like,
mm,
cool. And you made it sound so easy. So I'm like, okay, you know what? Do the training. And that's what I learned. And I got inspired even more. And I was like, okay, this is how we go about it. And it was great. And when you're passionate about something, David, you want to do more. You
yeah.
want to learn more.
Mm,
And the challenge didn't stop me. Sure, I had a hard time hearing, but thank God for subtitles. Thank God for Bluetooth to my cochlear. And, it was great. So I was putting
mm,
the extra hours in the beginning because I was new.
yeah.
And one thing I learned in life is, I'm sure we've heard this expression before, never compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. You know, like, sure, I want to be making, 7, 8 figures. I know I'm not there yet, but I'm going to get there. I know because I have faith in myself. I believe in myself. I believe in the work ethic, and I will get there.
Mm,
I will get there.
yeah. Oof. Wow. Wow. Can you say that one more time? That quote that you said, just for those who didn't listen or were maybe coming on just as you were saying that. What was it? The
The
quote that you
comparing,
just, yeah, don't compare your
yeah,
chapter
is
what?
the one of the quotes that really resonated with me was, "Don't compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20."
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to compare.
Yeah.
It's so easy to compare, and once you compare, you're setting yourself for failure.
Mm.
I mean, it's like
I mean, come on. When
someone.
you first came on TikTok, that first week or 2 or month
Oh
had to
my god!
be uncomfortable or awkward for you, right? And I want you to talk about that, because we'll go over here and we'll look at your account here, 115,000 followers. I mean, come on. What's going on? It's like this guy, hey, he's a real pro. This guy knows what he's doing. Somebody's come. They're at this point, people who are listening right now, Salvador, they've forgotten about all the hearing hardships and all the I mean, the fact that you lost your hearing completely just a couple of years ago. So let's go ahead and remind everybody of how absolutely easy and flawlessly simple it was. Probably, I'm just assuming, for you to get on video and just start recording videos like a pro right off the bat.
Well, what happened? I mean, to be honest with
I'm
you,
being
I
sarcastic.
remember.
I'm being sarcastic there, obviously, but
No, no, I get it. But the funny thing you mentioned is that my first video, I kid you not, I think it took me 2 hours to make.
yeah,
My very, very first video, I think it was like during Christmas time last year. I was like so nervous. First of all, I never even owned a TikTok account because I thought it was just for kids dancing. That's all.
yeah,
I'm like, no, I'm not gonna get on TikTok. I'm not gonna dance. And then as part of your program, you said TikTok was one way to go about it. So I said, you know what? Just do it. I got nothing to lose. So I did it. The first video, it took me 2 hours, and I was still trying to learn how to do it, how to get the fonts, how to do this. And I was like, okay, you know what? Just put it out there. Just do it.
Right.
Stop
Right.
overthinking. Stop overanalyzing. Just do it, because over time you're gonna get better. You're gonna improve. With so
Right.
many videos, and then I was doing it once a day. The hashtag, I had no idea what the hashtag, but then eventually I started researching. Your section on TikTok really helped, and then I just started improving. But one thing is consistent.
Yeah.
I was very consistent. Now, recently, I have not been very consistent because I've been focusing more on Facebook, because I think I pretty much understand how TikTok works and how it's brought me so many connections. I mean, so many people have reached out, in terms of how can I do this? How can I make money? Where do I go? What's happening with your hearing loss?
Right.
Um, yeah,
So let's
actually,
talk. Let's talk.
I think I want to do a little more emphasis on my hearing loss and how that's helped change my life recently.
Yeah.
Because now, like I said, I'm still processing new sounds, and it's just amazing. Sometimes I get so emotional
Yeah.
because I have to retrain my brain what I've heard the last 40 years. So,
Right.
like, for example, the music I hear today versus 2 years ago, it's completely different. It's
Yeah.
completely different.
It's crazy.
It's, I mean, you take it for granted because you have good hearing, and that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
But like the other day, when I first got them, I was hearing fridge humming. I've
Hmm.
never heard a fridge hum. It's so simple, so quiet. I'm like, what the heck is that noise? And I'm putting my ear next to the fridge, and because it's magnet, my cochlear implant sticks to the fridge. Yeah, I know. So that's one of the downfalls, because they put a magnet inside my head.
Wow.
So that
Wow.
yeah, so
Wow.
that's basically it's this. So that's
Wow.
how it sticks to my head. It's just a magnet.
So it's not even in your ear. The
No, no, it's
sound
not.
is somehow it's coming
It's
into
right
your
here.
head. Holy
It's a
crap.
magnet that, yeah. So basically, they had to cut behind the ear, flip it, put magnet here, and put a magnet in there. And there's nothing inside my ear, not anymore.
Wow.
So there's
Wow.
22 electrodes inside my cochlea. I wish I could show you a picture, but inside, like, very these the technology doctors have is just simply amazing.
My dog, Mike Towers in the house. Everybody needs to just read Mike's comment and I think we need to just drop the microphone and end the show with that. Come on now.
Yeah. Thank
You
you,
know what
Mike.
I
I
mean?
appreciate that. Very kind of you. Very
I
kind of
mean,
you.
come on, man. I mean, it's crazy. And every one of us, every day, you know, um, could do a little more, and it's not about shaming ourselves. It's not about feeling shame. It's not about guilt tripping. It's just about like really asking ourselves, am I living up to my potential? Am I giving myself what I deserve? Because I can complain all day long that others aren't treating me the way that I deserve. But if I'm not going and doing adequate self-care, taking care of myself, and if I'm not actually looking to try to do something to set myself up to be more financially free so I could be more happy, I'm not treating myself like I deserve. And so why do I expect others to treat me better than the way that we have to treat ourselves better if we want the world to treat us better. And that was a hard lesson for me. That was the difference between taking initiative and being entitled. That was a big lesson that nobody owes me shit, and that I can use my situation and turn it into anything that I want to turn it into. And also that led me into really realizing that there's really no rules. A lot of us ask questions like, can I post my link on my TikTok profile? Can I respond to people in the comments? Can I? Well, you know what? You can do anything that you want. You can even do something that's completely the opposite of our training or completely the opposite of best practice, and maybe figure out a way to somehow make it work for you, or to figure out a new way to do it. But how have you dealt with the fact, Salvatore, that there really is no rules? I mean, there's certainly best practices, but in the game of building a business and in the game of entrepreneurship, which is what we're doing here, there really is no rules. You really have a blank canvas every morning when you wake up to create any type of content you want, to tweak your message any way that you want, to build your brand and build your front facing message and what your brand, meaning you, in this case, it's usually we are the brand, whatever we want our brand to stand for, however we want it to look. I've been recently buying some designer stuff, spoiling myself a little bit. I got a Merce, caught myself the new Gucci Adidas collaboration. But I'm looking at some of these things are a couple of $1,000 for a tiny little bag that's, you could sell, others sell for $200 or $300. And they created that. That's called high ticket or premium pricing. But they created that. They just said, we're going to create something that's better and we're going to sell it for like 10 times more than everybody else is selling it for. And there's no rule. And guess what? We ended up finding out, Salvatore, that human beings would stand around the corner to buy this shit. I mean, it's unbelievable. Okay. How have you dealt with coming from being an aerospace engineer and probably having lots of different protocols, I would think? How have you dealt with all of this freedom and these lack of rules? And does that excite you? Does that make you nervous? What comes up for you as we talk about the wild, wild west and what ultimately is an unlimited opportunity to be as creative as you want and ultimately build a business as big as you want? But how do you deal with that? Sometimes that freedom is crippling for people.
No, you know what I mean? It's funny because, especially in aerospace, you really have to stick to certain rules. I mean, there's FAA regulations, certifications, flammability, and you have to build certain products in a certain way to respect so many different rules. Now, going to affiliate marketing there's, like you said, there's no rules, but instead of rules, it's respect. Because respect is very powerful. I'm not just gonna go on and say, "Hey, I'm gonna steal your client because, I'm gonna make that extra commission." No, it's respect in the terms of providing value. Like you said, can I message you? Message me. What's the harm? The harm I can say, no, I don't want to deal with you. And you mentioned about the Adidas and Gucci bag, and how people stand around and wait in line. I was speaking. I was actually mentoring a student, and he had this great web page, product all set up and everything. And I'm like, "What are your challenges?" And I said, "Well, I don't have any customers." He says, "Okay, so how's your funnel set up?" And then he goes to me, "What's a funnel?" And I'm like, "Oh my God." So the moral of the story was, like, you can have the greatest product in the world, but if you don't have any advertising, promotion, funnel,
Right.
autoresponders, you're not going anywhere. You have
Yeah.
Adidas, they can make something so quick, put it on the shelf, don't even promote it, but because the brand is already out there, you have people waiting in line. That's the difference of how powerful marketing is.
Yeah.
That's how powerful
And
a simple
consistency,
sales
right?
funnel can be.
And consistency over the years of people
Correct.
see, people they don't want bootleg stuff. They want
Correct.
the real thing from the real company that's been around for a long. So, it's the same thing. Like Legendary is now at this point to where, because we've stayed in business and consistently done the things that we've done, people are searching us out. You know, we've built a brand, we've built a real company, a real movement. And so have many of our clients and affiliates who have, including yourself, now building up your brand. You are a familiar face to a lot of people in our niche because they've seen your videos. 115,000 of them are following you on TikTok. Thousands of them are likely on your email list. And the more weeks and months and years that you stay doing this, they're inspired by your story of hearing loss and overcoming that. I mean, that you went from unknown with a job somewhere and that's fine. That was a fine place. But now you said, I don't want that anymore. And now you're over here, and out of nothing, out of thin air, you have built a name in an industry. And now those people who are on your email list, as they continue to see you doing your thing and providing value, you too, Salvador, and all of us, and that's the beautiful thing about this, will put out an offer via email or something. And just like Adidas, those folks who are standing around the corner to buy those folks buy from us those same ways. Each one of us has that opportunity. What the internet's done for us is it's leveled the playing field to where even an individual like you or I can get a slice of the pie. And so, to folks like yourself, Salvador, who's overcome, hearing loss, being completely deaf, I mean, dealing with this most or all of your life, going from a different industry, you look at people who are thinking, who are standing on the sidelines, and you go, what are you waiting for, right? um, but the truth is, my friends, is to each one of us, your slice of pie is available. And it's just a matter of whether you're going to pull up a chair, do the work to get to the table, pull up a chair, and actually start eating. um, Salvador, what comes up for you as I say that, and give us some final thoughts here as we kind of wrap up. And man, I'd love to have you back on the show for sure.
That'd be great. You said, pull up a chair and just start. A lot of times I hear, I don't have time, I work and I do this. And I'm like, you know what? I tell them, I keep hearing excuses. You have 24 hours in a day. I have 24 hours in a day. Beyonce, Jay-Z, everyone else in the world, Bill Gates has 24 hours in a day. What separates you from them? They do it. You just
Mm,
make excuses. You want to watch TV? You want to watch Netflix? That's fine. 1 hour means a lot. Instead of watching Netflix, do something, learn a side hustle. A lot of people take weekends. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna make the money. I'm gonna spend it on booze. Trust me, I'm not guilty. I used to do it out in university. Sorry, maybe college. But anyways, the whole point is, you know what? You go out of it. Your mindset changes even more, and you realize, you know what? Time is invaluable. You want to
yeah,
spend with family. You want to go on more vacations. You want financial freedom. Everyone has 24 hours in a day.
right.
What are you doing that's different from someone else?
Yeah, yeah. That's it, my brother. Hey, man. To hear more from Salvador, of course, I've got his link. Okay. You can go connect with him on TikTok. My brother, please come back and see us, man. An incredible story. I'm glad that our paths have met so we can, of course, be a part of your story now. And
Thank you, David. It was an honor and a privilege to be here, and thank you for everything. I
you're so
definitely would love to come back on again.
well. We would definitely have love to have you. So we'll talk to you in about a month or so. All right, my friend.
Perfect. Take care, David.
All right, buddy. See you later. All right, my friends, you can follow Salvatore over at TikTok, and you can see his link right there on the screen. He also happens to be on Instagram, but just start there on TikTok. And if you're not on TikTok, get on TikTok. You know what I mean? Just create a profile, and you can connect with him that way. You should be on TikTok, anyways. All right, my friends, have a fantastic day. Do something. You know what? Listen, if you ain't inspired to do some serious stuff after that, come on now, just check your pulse. All right, just make sure you're still breathing, right? Because it doesn't get more inspirational, more real, a greater example, a more powerful example of what's possible than what we just heard this morning. So yeah, get into the training if you're new. Get back into the challenge. Go immediately back into the challenge. Get into the blueprints. Go immediately back in there today, and get trained up properly, and then go crush it. All right. Don't stay in college. Don't stay in training. You don't have to do it for months on end. Just get trained properly and go out there and chase your dreams. Right. And let us help you do that. We'll see you tomorrow back with another guest, another day, and we don't plan on stopping. Get out of here. Peace. Be legendary.